Hello guys, what is up? And today I'll be showing you how to add hats into Cosmo X. The first step is to import Cosmo X into Turbowarp. Please install Turbowarp if you haven't already, which is from the previous video. The first method to import Cosmo X into Turbowarp is by joining the Cosmo X Studio Discord server. Here in the Cosmo X Studios Discord server, you can find some pretty useful links. The first link you can access to help you out is this link here. All you do is press on it, and it will open up to here. You will need the most recent .sb3 file. Currently, the most recent file for this one here is Cosmo X and Underground Odyssey 1.4.11.sb3. Click on it. Now you will go to the top right and press download. Download anyways. It's a save file. Now save it to your computer, and now you can open it up. Click here. Or you can open it up in your files management program. So now the game is loaded up and you are now ready to modify it. I will now be showing you the second method to import Cosmo X into your computer. I will be providing a link in the description below. You will be able to access a pretty special link that you will need. Now you can either paste the link in, click on it, or you can type it in, then enter, which will open up to this page. You must wait for the project to finish loading and wait for a unique screen to pop up. Now the game is loaded up. You will now want to go here where it says See Inside. Now go to the Files tab and go to Save to your computer. A page will eventually pop up showing you what you want to name your file. Just press Enter and then it will save to your computer. And now the screen has popped up. You can either just press Enter or you can press on the Save button, or you can rename it to something else if you'd like. Now press Save. And now it is saved to your computer. You can now open it up. There we go. I will now choose to modify the first copy that we have on the device. So let me close out of the tabs. Let me go down to here to Turbowarp. And now we are on our first copy. Now I'll be showing you how to add hats into Cosmo X. Your first step will be to go to the lists and scroll down. Checkmark list of hats and checkmark unlocked features. Notice here that there are a list of hats and there are a list of unlocked features. What we will be modifying today are only hats, so we will focus on hats for this video. To add a hat, go to List of Hats, click here, and press Enter. Be careful not to press backspace, because you will delete it. If by accident you delete something, just press Ctrl Z. Oh, that didn't work. If you accidentally delete something, you can always go back here and just recopy what was lost. Cool. So now we have our flower hat back. Now we'll click here. If you want to delete an element, just press here. Simple as that. Now let's press Enter. And if you notice, if you press Enter here, it will create and move this one up. So now we will make ourselves a new hat. Let's do hat cake. What if I want to wear a cake as a hat? Ah, that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to be copying this one, and I'm going to move it down here, where the trophy is. There we go. Exact same name in both lists. Pretty cool. So when we add a hat into unlocked features, it will make it so that the game makes it selectable when you're choosing a hat. And the list of hats is to, well, let the game know the list of hats, and well, gives each hat some sort of identifier. So then it will look for that same identifier in unlocked features. So now let's go back. Let's go to costumes, and now let's scroll down and let's go to hat costumes. Now let's scroll down and let's duplicate this one. So click here, right click, duplicate, and drag it down before this empty costume. Now go here, duplicate, move it down below that one. And now rename this to anything you want, but let's name it cake right and cake left. There we go. So the names are a little odd. I'm not gonna lie, they are kind of weird. Because this one's pointing to the left, and we gave it R, which stands for right. So we can put ourselves L, and we can go here and switch it out with R, which is right. And then go back here, and now rename it back to Cake L. So now it's facing to the left, and this is now facing to the right. And well, if we were to load the game up right now, alrighty guys, at this moment, there is a little issue where the flower head appeared twice, and this was not of my intention. So I was actually trying to figure out why that was happening, and it just so happens to be that the list was not updated properly. So just pay attention to the following tip. Let's see why this is happening. So let's go back to our lists and let's do unlocked features. Oh, my bad. This should be cake. And this here should well be cake as well, which it is. But why do we have two flowers near each other? The game, when it goes to unlocked features, it will go from order from top to bottom. So if I really wanted to, I could make these all trophies. So instead of having cake here, we can have, well, a trophy. So now if I do return and reload it, if we now select our hats, notice here how there's now two trophies. But it is in the order from top to bottom in unlocked features. We could actually move the trophy up. So we X this one out, and then we put it in the front here, and then make this one cake. You will notice now that the cake will be the last one. And now here was another issue that can happen with lists. Sometimes they fail to update, but here is a guaranteed way to make sure that it updates properly whenever needed. Alrighty, and after some debugging, which it failed, let's do a fix here. So to make sure that it is saved, which can happen sometimes, like just now, what we can do is just make sure that you go back into your list and just type it in, and then what you'll want to do is then just click back onto your coding area or some area that's not the list or the borders of it. And then now we have added the item in there for sure. So now if we reload it, notice now that the trophy is first. So depending on which comes first in unlocked features will determine the order of the hats in the hat selection. However, there's also a little more order to this. List of hats. Notice here that, well, we have ourselves a list of hats. And they are going to coincide. The names are going to coincide with the costumes. This is trophy going to the left. This is trophy going to the right. This is the witch hat going to the left, and this is the witch hat going to the right. This is Froggy going to the left, and this is Froggy going to the right. And notice here this is Trophy, Witch, Froggy, Chow, Hero Chow, Dark Chow, Flower Hat, and then we have ourselves Cake. So we have a pattern here for a list of hats. And there's one thing I would just like to point out. Each hat uses two different costumes for it, one pointing to the left and one pointing to the right. Notice that it's mirrored on a vertical line like this. It's mirrored here, like that. So if we know that now, well then we got to make sure that we mirror it well. So I am going to actually make a cake now. So this is probably not going to be too hard. Let's just make a little rectangle. And let's make it this color. Who likes some chocolate cake? And let's get rid of the outline because the game doesn't use outlines. Let's cut this out of the way with Ctrl X and delete this. And also delete this as well. Now you can put your cutted object back in with Ctrl V, Ctrl Paste, or you can press the paste button here. You can also copy this by pressing the copy button here, or you can do Ctrl C. Now we will do paste. And notice here that it will paste over the original. This is modifiable in the add-ons, but by default, Turbowarp has it where the pasted object will actually be moved slightly. So let me move this back, and now let's move it up. And now we have ourselves a cake. So let me hold Alt here. Alt will make sure that it mirrors it. And now let's just do a bit of candles with a little bit of color. So we can go here and change the color. And now let's copy and paste. Copy and paste. Done! Now it looks like we got our cake. Just delete those objects, group it, and then rotate it. You can hold Shift, and when you're rotating it, it will do this. Pretty nifty. Alrighty, so now let's move it down. And let's just slightly adjust it. I think that cake looks good and ready to eat. So let's copy this and let's paste it here and press flip horizontally. Sweet. So, well, now we will just select it again, Control X and select all, or you can do Control All with Control A, and you can either press backspace or delete to delete the object. You can also press the delete button here, and now paste it back in. So, cool. Yes, this is really cool. However, there's going to be some problems when you flip it. For example, if I were to flip this, let's paste it, let's copy this, and let's say for example we delete this. There's going to be a slight problem when I flip it horizontally. Why is that? Well, if you notice here, I have moved from center point. The center point is right here, this center circle here. So in order to adjust for that, I will manually have to select it all and to the best of my ability, adjust it back to how it would be if it was mirrored perfectly. Turbowarp has this issue, and sometimes it's very annoying to deal with. So I am just going to tell you to be aware of that now. So now let me delete this, and let me copy this, and now let me mirror it. Done. Wow, so now we have ourselves a new hat. And one more thing. Please never delete this costume. I know you may be tempted because it's empty, or to replace it, or to put something in here. This is left intentionally blank and should never be messed with and should be the very last costume in this sprite. Never delete this costume. This is so important to have. If this is filled with something or it's deleted, the hats are broken. So now let's uncheck the list of hats. And now let's reload the game. I mean reload the hats. So now cake. And now we have a cake in the game. And that is how you add a hat into Cosmo X. And as always, thanks for watching. See ya in the next one.